Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So, as you know, this is my first video on here, so I wanted to start things off with a list of the biggest mistakes that beginner guitarists will make when buying their first guitar. So, first of all, I've got buying with your eyes and not your ears. So what I mean by that is basically what I said, but you see a really nice guitar, you really want that guitar, it looks super cool, but you have no idea how it plays. You don't care, you buy it anyways, just to come to find out that it does not play well at all. Now, this is a very detrimental and saddening thing that any guitarist is when they find out that they ended up not spending their money well. Well, this can be avoided pretty easily by doing a little bit of research and finding out what brands are good for what your genre of music you want to play. Like, for example, if you're really big into metal, Schecter, Jackson, Ibanez, those are really great guitars for doing that job. And on the higher end, you've got Legator, Ormsby, stuff like that. Now, not that you should go buy a Legator or Ormsby, those are pretty expensive. But you have tons of options to choose from that will suit your style and also not break the bank. Like, I know that Ibanez has their Geo series, I believe it's called, that is very affordable. Jackson has a lineup of very affordable guitars, and as far as I know, Schecter has a decent lineup of affordable guitars, but I have never really played or messed with them at all. But the Ibanez's and the Jacksons I have, and I was very satisfied with those, if I had to say so myself. So, never buy with your eyes. Always play the guitar and make sure that it's something that you like, even if it means going to your local guitar center and trying it out, or whatever it may be. If you see a guitar that's at a pawn shop and you think it looks good, they'll let you play it. Of course, you gotta play it before you buy it, man. Now, for number 2, we have buying Floyd Rose equipped guitars, the good old Floyd Rose. So a Floyd Rose isn't a bad thing per se, but as a beginner guitarist, you have a big learning curve when it comes to stringing a guitar, because stringing a guitar normally isn't that bad. Even changing gauges really isn't that bad. You have to change intonation, possibly, and adjust the neck. It's really nothing. But with a Floyd Rose guitar, it is a floating bridge, and I can grab one real quick to demonstrate better. So, on a Floyd Rose equipped guitar, like I said, it's a floating bridge. You have springs in the back and strings on the front. The springs and the strings fight each other constantly to keep a constant balance of weight on the Floyd Rose, which allows you do stuff like dive bombs and make the strings super tight, go wah, like cool stuff like that, which is really awesome, but also is very difficult to set up when you're a beginner guitarist before you have the swing of things, per se, and not only that, every time you change string gauge, it is going to change spring gauge, essentially. I worded that a little wrong, but you'll see what I mean. When the strings get tighter, you need to add tension to the springs because the strings are going to have more weight to them when it's fully tuned. I think a guitar, 6-string guitar with standard gauge strings in standard tuning, is something like 200 pounds on the neck. So those springs are doing a lot of job to keep that bridge at level with your guitar. And that's just, it's a little much for a beginner guitarist. So not that you should at any cost avoid it. If you're sold on a Floyd Rose, then there's nothing I can really do to change your mind, but it's just my personal recommendation that I would avoid one as a beginner guitarist. And for the next one on the list, we have avoiding extended range guitars, because when you are first learning your instrument, why confuse yourself with the extra strings? Now, if you are trying to get into metal, and specifically certain genres of metal, it can be necessary to have a 7 or an 8. So those are kind of different scenarios, even though I would still recommend buying a 6 and learning on a 6 first. There's nothing necessarily wrong with buying an extended range as your first guitar, other than it's just going to make things a little weird. When you eventually do get a 6-string, it will, or ever just play on a 6-string, it will definitely feel very weird to you. That is not a lie at all. Ask me how I know. But with the extended range, you get an extended range. You get a lot more to play with. And that can also be a good thing, but it can be a detrimental thing because you are going to confuse yourself a lot, especially with like fast transitions and stuff. I've seen a lot of beginner players get a little lost when it comes to that stuff. I used to know one fella in particular who I tried to tell him, do not get an 8-string. He had just been learning for a few months, and despite him really wanting it and not listening to much music that used 8 strings, he still bought an 8-string. And a few months after that came to me and was like, yeah, dude, I really don't know what to do with this thing. And yeah, that's what can happen. So unless it's specifically something that you want and you know you're going to use, you know you're going to use it a lot, and you want to learn on an extended range, then go for it. But if that's not the case, I could not recommend an extended range to a beginner guitarist at all. Now, the next thing on the list would have to be buying someone else's used junk. Now, there can be a lot of good deals on the used market, don't get me wrong, but there's also a lot of bad deals on the market that people can't realize or see when they are beginner guitarists because they don't know how to play, per se. Now, if you are a beginner but you have experience playing, this is a different story. You know, say you're going to pick up your second guitar or third guitar, you will probably be able to avoid this one pretty easily. But for the completely inexperienced player, not so much. So when buying used instruments, it's very important that you look through everything about it. Do the volume knobs work? Do the tone knobs work? You know, do they sound scratchy when you tune it up? Is the neck warped? You can look down the neck and see if it's warped or anything. If there's a bow or a crown, that's okay. That can be fixed with the truss rod. That's not really what we're worrying about here. But just take your hand, take the instrument, play all of the frets up to the 24th fret. Make sure that all the notes ring out from up to down, and you're good. If the volume works, tone works, then the pickups work. And if the bridge is alright, just inspect every little part of the guitar. You need to be meticulous because you do not want to get home and find out that the guitar needs some work, or even you have to put money into it. That's going to just really be a heartbreaking moment for a new guitarist. So always make sure when you are buying on the used market, you are not buying someone else's used junk. And finally, the biggest mistake I see new guitarists make is buying something they didn't want. And I've seen a lot of guitarists have this happen to them by getting talked into by sales representatives or things like that. And it's okay to say, no, I don't like this. This is not the guitar for me. Even if you picked it up and were playing it, that's what guitar stores are for. You want to play it. It's a guitar store. They're on display. Pick it up and play it. And not only that, don't let other people tell you what to buy. Even though I just spent the whole of this video telling you that, don't let other people tell you that. If it's what you want, it's what you want. And if it's what you're going to enjoy, most importantly, then get it. What's the harm in it? You know, I would still always recommend make sure it plays okay, but you know, if it's what you want, it's what you want. If it is what you want to be your guitar, then by all means, make it your guitar. Take it home, slap some stickers on it, do whatever you want with it. It's your guitar now, and it's yours to have fun with it. So yeah, if you made it this far into the video, thank you very much. I know it wasn't a very long or in-depth video, but I just wanted to create something kind of simple to start things off. And let me know what you think. If you made it this far, thank you very much. And I very much appreciate all of the support I've been getting on other socials. It's fun making videos. That's the main thing. That's why I'm making them. Like, if it wasn't fun for me, I wouldn't be doing this right now. You know what I mean? And yeah. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video.